All right, so we're diving into something pretty fascinating today. The inner path to wealth. This time you've given me quite a collection of sources. We've got YouTube videos, we've got philosophical texts, we even have a self-help classic in there and some insights on self-esteem. So I guess our mission is to figure out if cultivating a certain mindset can really unlock lasting wealth. What do you think?
It's really interesting how so many different sources seem to be sort of converging on this idea. So we're going to explore whether wealth is more than just about your finances, but also a reflection of your inner world.
Exactly. I'm already hooked. So let's just start with the basics. What does wealth even mean in this context? I mean, it seems like we're talking about way more than just, having money, right?
You're absolutely right. Naval, the tech investor from those YouTube videos, he kind of reframes wealth as freedom. Having the freedom to choose how you spend your time, who you spend it with, and what you do.
I like that. That's a really powerful definition. Yeah, it shifts the focus from all the material stuff to something way more personal and liberating.
And to actually achieve this freedom, Naval says we need to escape the rat race. Trading your time for money, that whole thing. He argues that true wealth comes from owning assets that generate value even when you're not working.
So like owning part of a business or intellectual property or even a product.
Exactly. He calls these equity assets, and they work for you even when you're not working.
Okay, I'm starting to see how this inner path idea fits in. It's about having the mindset and the skills to create this freedom for yourself. But then we have Osho, who adds a whole other layer to this idea of wealth.
Yeah. Osho, the spiritual teacher, he dives into the idea of wealth as inner peace. He thinks true wealth comes from understanding the difference between our dreams and reality. Realizing that the material world can be kind of an illusion.
So he's basically saying that waking up from the waking state, seeing through our attachment to material things, that's the ultimate form of wealth.
Yeah, it is a powerful concept when you think about it. If we're always chasing external validation and material possessions, we might never truly feel fulfilled.
So we have financial freedom on one side, inner peace on the other. It's like two sides of the same coin. How do we reconcile these seemingly opposite ideas?
Well, I think the bridge between them is mindset. Both Naval and Osho, even though they have different approaches, they both emphasize how important it is to make a mental shift.
Okay, let's break that down. What kind of mental shift are we talking about here?
Naval uses the term success consciousness. It's about cultivating an unwavering belief in your ability to achieve your goals.
So it's not just about wanting to be successful. It's about actually believing it's going to happen.
Exactly. And he even goes a step further, suggesting that money consciousness is key.
Money consciousness. Okay, I've never heard that term before. What does that even mean?
It means saturating your mind with the idea of wealth to the point where you can actually see yourself already having it. You start to see opportunities and make decisions that align with your financial goals.
I can already hear some people listening to thinking, wait, isn't that just wishful thinking?
That's a great question. And it actually brings us back to Osho's point about understanding the nature of reality. It's not just about blindly wishing for money. It's about cultivating a mindset that attracts wealth. This is where aligning your inner world with your outer goals becomes really powerful.
So it's not about ignoring the material world, but understanding it and using your mind to shape your experience within it. It's about taking control of your thoughts and beliefs instead of letting them control you.
Exactly. And this leads us to another important part of the inner path, which is authenticity.
Authenticity. How does that play into creating wealth?
Well, Naval believes in being yourself, finding what you're uniquely good at and using those talents to the fullest.
So instead of trying to fit in or follow the crowd, you lean into your strengths, your passions.
Exactly. He uses this phrase, productize yourself. It's about taking your unique skills and passions and creating something valuable that you can offer the world.
I love that. It takes the focus off competing and puts it on self-discovery and contribution. You avoid the whole comparison game and instead create something unique and valuable based on your own strengths.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that your unique perspective is your biggest asset. And this actually connects really well with Robert Greene's concept of mastery from that book you shared.
Ah, yes, Mastery
Hmm.
by Robert Greene. He's all about diving deep into a field and developing a really deep understanding of it.
Right. He believes true mastery goes beyond surface level knowledge. It's about really immersing yourself in a subject until it becomes almost intuitive.
So, by following your interests and passions, you naturally build a unique and valuable knowledge base. It's not just about learning for the sake of learning. It's about becoming an expert in something that you're really passionate about.
Exactly. And that knowledge, that becomes your leverage.
Leverage. Wait, I thought we were talking about wealth and mindset. How does leverage fit into this?
This is where things get really interesting. Naval explains that leverage multiplies the force of your judgment. And in today's world, the potential for leverage is practically unlimited.
Okay, so it's not just about working hard. It's about working smart, using tools to amplify your impact.
Exactly. He encourages exploring what he calls permissionless leverage, things like coding, writing, becoming a skilled communicator.
So using tools like podcasts, online courses, maybe even social media to reach a wider audience and scale your impact.
Exactly. These are all tools that can amplify your knowledge and skills, helping you create value for more people, which ultimately leads to more wealth.
Wow, I'm starting to see how all these pieces fit together. The mindset, the authenticity, the leverage.
You got it. It's a pretty powerful combination.
Okay, we've covered a lot already. Redefining wealth, shifting our mindset, embracing authenticity, and using tools to boost our impact.
I'm definitely ready to hear more about how all of this plays out in the real world. So let's move on to the next stage of this journey, shall we?
Now, let's dive into Think and Grow Rich. It's a classic for a reason, and it actually has some surprising connections to what we've been talking about.
Yeah, let's unpack this one. It's all about using the power of thought to achieve success, right?
Exactly. Napoleon Hill, the author, he interviewed hundreds of super successful people like Andrew Carnegie, and get this, he claims there's a secret to success hidden within the book.
Oh, come on. Did he ever reveal this secret? It kind of feels like a clickbait title for a self-help book, you know?
Well, he never actually comes out and says what the secret is. He says, you'll recognize it when you're ready to use it. But he does really emphasize desire, faith, and what he calls auto-suggestion. Okay, let's break those down. How do those three things lead to success?
So he lays out a 6-step formula. It starts with defining your burning desire. It could be money, a specific job, really anything you truly crave. Then you figure out what you're willing to give up to get it.
So no free lunches here. It's about understanding what you have to give to achieve your goals. I like that.
Absolutely. Next, you set a specific date for when you want to achieve your desire.
Wow, okay, he's getting very specific. I can see how that would really help you focus your efforts.
Right, and then you got to create a plan to achieve your desire and start taking action right away, like immediately, even if you don't feel ready. This is actually where a lot of people get stuck. They get caught up in the planning and never take that first step.
Gotcha. So action is crucial. It's not enough to just dream and visualize. You got to put in the work. What's next in Hill's formula?
Step 5 is writing down a clear statement. It should outline your desire, the date you want to achieve it by, what you'll give in return, and your plan.
It sounds like this is about making it real. No more vague aspirations.
Exactly. And finally, you read this statement out loud twice a day, picturing yourself already having achieved your desire. That's Hill's version of autosuggestion.
That's really similar to what Naval was saying about money consciousness, right? It's about immersing your mind in the idea that you already possess wealth. Are we seeing a theme here?
Absolutely. It also connects to Osho's emphasis on the mind's power to shape reality. It's fascinating how these different sources are all coming together.
Okay, here's where I get a little skeptical. Is Hill saying that we can just will anything into existence just by thinking about it really hard? Isn't that a bit too simple?
It's a fair question, but remember, Hill's formula really stresses taking action. It's about aligning your thoughts, beliefs, and actions to actually make success happen.
So it's not just positive thinking. It's a whole approach that involves inner and outer work.
Precisely. And I think that's what makes this idea of an inner path to wealth so compelling. It's about cultivating the right mindset, beliefs, and habits that can help you attract abundance in all forms.
I'm starting to get it. Hill's formula isn't about manipulating the universe. It's about getting yourself in sync with what you want.
You got it. And it's really interesting how Hill uses the story of Darby, the gold prospector, to make this point.
Oh, yeah. Remind me about that story. What happened to Darby?
So Darby, he finds a vein of gold, but he needs machinery to mine it, so he marks the spot and leaves to get supplies. But when he gets back, he can't find his markers and spends months searching, eventually giving up.
Oh, no. Did he ever find the gold?
Well, here's the twist. He sells his claim for practically nothing to a junk man, who then hires a mining engineer. And guess what? That engineer strikes gold just 3 feet from where Darby stopped digging.
Oh, man, that's brutal. But it does show how important persistence and belief are.
Exactly. Hill says Darby didn't have enough faith to keep going. to trust that he was on the right path. And he connects Darby's physical search for gold to our inner search for success.
I see the analogy, but let's be real. Not everyone is going to find a gold mine, even with the right mindset. There's got to be some element of luck, timing, and just plain circumstance involved, right?
Of course, external factors definitely play a role. And that's where balance comes in. Remember Brandon talking about self-acceptance. True wealth is about navigating all of life's ups and downs, with resilience and grace. It's about learning from setbacks and making adjustments without losing sight of your goals.
So it's not just about hitting a specific target. It's about building the inner strength and flexibility to handle whatever comes your way. That sounds like a pretty valuable skill set, no matter what your financial goals are.
Absolutely. And this brings us back to another key idea from Think and Grow Rich: the power of autosuggestion.
Hold on, didn't we already talk about that? Reading your written statement out loud twice a day?
Yeah, we did. But it's more than just a ritual. Hill thinks autosuggestion is like the key to unlocking our subconscious mind.
Okay, that's interesting. So by constantly feeding our subconscious with positive affirmations, we can reprogram our thinking and create new habits. Is that what he's getting at?
Basically, yes. Hill believed that our dominant thoughts become our reality. He famously said, "Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve."
I can see how that could be powerful, but it also seems like it could lead to a lot of disappointment if you're not careful. What if your desires are unrealistic or, go against your values?
That's where self-awareness and integrity come in, like Brandon emphasizes. Autosuggestion isn't some magic solution. It's a tool. It's about making sure your desires match your values and your overall vision for your life.
So it's about being deliberate about the thoughts and beliefs we choose to cultivate. Not just mindlessly repeating affirmations, but really figuring out what we want and why.
Exactly. And that's where the inner path to wealth becomes a journey of self-discovery. It's about understanding ourselves, our motivations, our deepest desires, so we can use tools like autosuggestion effectively and ethically.
Wow, we are going deep. We're talking about rewiring our brains to achieve our goals. But how do we actually do that? Where do we even start?
Now that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yep.
And it's one we'll have to explore further.
All right, listeners, we've gone into the minds of tech investors, spiritual teachers, self-help gurus. We've explored the power of desire, the importance of being genuine, and the role of knowledge in achieving success. But the real journey starts when we take these ideas and put them into practice in our own lives. Okay, we've explored some really powerful concepts about, aligning our inner world with our outer goals. But I think we're all wondering, how do we actually make that happen? How do we take these big ideas and turn them into concrete actions?
That is the key question. And I think one of the most important tools we have is self-awareness. Nathaniel Branden's 6 pillars of self-esteem, the very first one is living consciously.
Right. Okay, but what does living consciously even mean? It sounds kind of vague.
It means being present in each moment, paying attention to what we're thinking, how we're feeling, what we're doing, and making choices that line up with our values and goals.
So it's about becoming more mindful and intentional in our everyday lives.
Exactly. And that mindfulness, it also applies to our relationship with money. Remember Naval talking about money consciousness. It's not just about wanting to be wealthy. It's about really understanding how money works, how to get it responsibly, manage it well, and use it as a tool to create freedom and abundance.
So we need to be financially literate, not just financially wishful. It's about being proactive with our finances and making smart choices.
That's right. And that education can come from different places. You can read books about investing, learn about different kinds of assets, maybe take a course on financial planning, or even just talk to people who are good with money.
It's about taking control of our financial well-being instead of just, hoping for the best or waiting for some lucky break.
Exactly. And that sense of responsibility, it goes beyond just money, like Brandon says. It's about taking ownership of our choices, our actions, and the results we create.
Okay, but let's be honest. Life happens. Things don't always work out the way we planned. How do we hold on to that self-esteem, that success consciousness, when we inevitably hit some roadblocks or make mistakes?
Well, that's where self-acceptance is so important. It's about acknowledging our flaws, our mistakes, our limitations, without beating ourselves up about it.
Yeah, that's easier said than done. It's so easy to get caught up in negative self-talk, especially when things aren't going our way.
It is. But remember how Brandon described self-esteem as a spiritual attainment? It's a choice to treat ourselves with kindness and understanding even when we mess up.
So it's about understanding that failure isn't the opposite of success. It's just part of the journey. It's about learning from our mistakes and using them to move forward.
Exactly. Every setback, every mistake, it's a chance to grow and maybe change direction.
This reminds me of what Robert Greene said in Mastery. He talks about how the road to mastery is rarely a straight line. It's full of twists and turns and detours.
And you know what? It's often during those detours, those moments of failure and frustration, that we have our biggest breakthroughs. Like, think about Mozart.
Oh yeah, Mozart, the child prodigy. But didn't all that early success come at a price?
Absolutely. His dad basically treated him like a product, showing him off all over Europe, making him perform for royalty. The pressure to succeed must have been incredible.
Wow, that must have been tough. What happened when he finally got away from his dad's control?
He actually had a hard time for a while, but it was during those times, when he was facing rejection and uncertainty, that he really found his own unique style. And that's when he composed some of his most amazing work.
So even Mozart, a musical genius, had to go through all that creative struggle to reach true mastery.
Exactly. And I think that's a really powerful message for all of us. The inner path to wealth isn't about avoiding failure. It's about embracing it, seeing it as a necessary part of growth.
That's such a good point. Failure isn't the end. It's just a chance to learn, adapt, and become even stronger.
Right. And that brings us to the importance of building solid relationships. Remember Nable's advice about partnering with rational optimists.
Yeah. Surround yourself with people who are smart, energetic, and have good values. That makes a lot of sense. I mean, having a strong support network can really make a difference.
It's not just about business partners, though. It's about friends, mentors, even romantic partners. We need people who believe in us, challenge us, and support our growth.
Yeah, it's about building a community of people who share our values and our vision, people who inspire us and keep us going.
Exactly. Those relationships give us emotional support, guidance, and inspiration, especially when things get tough. They remind us why we started on this path in the first place.
This has been such a great deep dive. We've covered so much. We've talked about what wealth really means, the power of our mindset, the importance of being genuine, and how self-awareness and self-acceptance play a role in achieving lasting success. It's clear that the inner path to wealth has many layers and is a very personal journey.
Definitely. And it's not just about theory. It's about taking action, trying things out, and figuring out what works for you. The real magic happens when we start putting these principles into practice in our own lives.
So as we wrap things up, I want to leave you with one final thought. What's one small step you can take today to become more self-aware, to embrace your unique talents, or to align your actions with what you truly desire? Because that's where real change begins. In the small, consistent steps we take every day to create a life of abundance, both inside and out.